Houston Running Zone, the ultimate podcast for runners in the Houston area, featuring the everyday runners who inspire us, clubs, gear, races, and runcations. Houston, we've got the runs.
All right, today in the zone, I have a Houston Marathon ambassador. She's an inspirational everyday runner. I love inspirational everyday runner. She goes by Slow Kenyan Runner on Instagram. Is Lillian Wanjagi. Did I pronounce it correct? Did I get it?
That is correct. You did great.
Well, welcome to the zone.
Thank you so very much. I'm so glad to be here.
Yes. Well, I love the inspirational everyday runner because 80% of us, we're not going to qualify for Boston. We just want to get out there, get healthy, or work some goals, whatever it may be. So I really want to pick your brain. But first of all, I need to address this. You go by Slow Kenyan Runner. Can you kind of explain that to me?
Yes. So I get that question a lot. So I'll be happy to share. So the first question I get actually is people actually want to know whether I'm actually Kenyan. And I really am. I was actually born in Kenya. But I did move to the U.S. many moons ago. So I've lived here longer than I lived there. So anyway, but interestingly enough, I knew nothing about running in Kenya. I knew nothing about marathoners. And I did not learn about running until I moved to Houston, Texas. So that's somewhat of an oxymoron. But anyway, most people think of Kenyan runners as the elite runners, right? And so anyway, so I am definitely the furthest that you can think of from an elite runner. So when I was thinking of an Instagram name that was memorable, Slow Kenyan Runner came to mind, because certainly relative to the general image that people have when they think of Kenyans, I am definitely very slow.
Well, we represent, without the bottom half, the top half wouldn't be possible. So there you go.
That's correct. That's
and
correct.
You mentioned you started when you moved to Houston. That's where you kind of discovered running. Yes.
So I lived in North Carolina. I went to college there, worked there a little bit, moved to Houston. And so really, actually, I didn't actually even really know any runners. But I kind of went through I went through a divorce, actually. That was the trigger. And as you can imagine, that's super traumatizing. And so I went through a very unhealthy phase in life. So I gained a lot of weight. And so I looked at myself in the mirror one day and I thought, oh my goodness, this is not okay. This is not really who I am. So I'd made lots of poor food choices, nutrition choices, wasn't very active. And as a single mom, my daughter she was an infant when this happened. It was really hard for me to imagine going to the gym, needing childcare and so forth. So I thought, she was taking her dance classes and so forth. So I thought, you know what, while she's doing her dance class and doing all her little activities, I could run, because you could run anywhere. So it was really my initial decision to run was more the convenience that I could do it anywhere. It didn't have to be on a schedule, and that I could accommodate my daughter's schedule, who at that time was very little. So that's how I started running. I signed up for a 5K. It was a Thanksgiving day, which I think Thanksgiving Day is like the largest 5K day of the year, I think.
Oh, yeah, it's out of control.
Anyway, so I signed up to do a 5K out in the Katy YMCA. I had never been to a race. I had no idea what happened at races. I just knew that I needed something to help with my motivation. And so as I thought about race day coming, the only thing I knew was I didn't want to be last. So I found an app, the Couch to 5K, right? So I think I did a 6 to 8 week. I can't remember all the details, now. And so I remember, I was in really poor physical shape because I truly was coming from my couch to a 5K. And I remember thinking, at that time, a 5K just felt like, it felt like a marathon. It just felt like so far, to go. So anyway, so the app was super helpful in helping me take bite-sized actions to an active lifestyle, to be a healthy person again. And so the 5K day came and I ran my 5K. I ran it in 34 minutes. I've never forgotten. I don't remember a lot of my other race times, but I wasn't last. And I think because I guess it was the Thanksgiving race, there were lots of people out cheering, and I loved the energy of that. And that's how I got hooked to running, was my first race day at a 5K. So
that's awesome. There's so many nuggets right there. I don't want to interrupt you because this is cool. I mean, I love how you can just drop her off and then run from there. Was it weird when you drop her off, you're all dry, and then you come back 30, 45 minutes later, you're just soaking wet from Houston?
Yes. So it was really interesting because I was super conscious, which is, I love to talk about running from that respect, because I was super conscious of myself. Like I said, I wasn't in great physical shape. I didn't look that great. And so in my head, or the voices in my head would just say things like, oh my gosh, people are laughing at this, really big girl out there trying to run. So it took a lot for me mentally to overcome that mindset to go, I'm going to do this. It doesn't matter, those voices in your head that say that. And what happened to me that was actually interesting is, because prior to me running, I would just sit in the lobby and wait for my kiddo to finish her dance class. So by like week 2 or 3, a couple of the people started asking me, can I come with you? So, so I thought, wow. So it motivated others to go, if this woman is doing this, then I'm not going to, so anyway, so it was like somewhat of a neat, experience. And it encouraged me to keep going. Even though in my head, maybe there's some of those negative voices, we all have those in different, ways. But for me, I was so conscious of myself that it was really tough, but that helped me kind of keep going and keep pushing myself. So.
Wow. That's great that you just got over the fear, which is all internal anyways. Like no one cares what we exactly wear. It's great. And this is awesome, because there's going to be a lot of new runners that listen. They're like, oh, I'm not fast. And that's like the most common thing I get. Well, I'm slow. I'm like, well, compared to what?
Right. Yeah.
Now, you said you started later in life, and I think that's when you were messaging back and forth. Like, how later in life did you start?
What in my 40s.
Oh, okay.
So I've only been running for the last 6 years. So I haven't run for that long. So I don't have many regrets in life. But if I would say that I have one, I wish I had discovered running much, much, earlier. So yeah. So I was 6 years ago.
Okay, well, you look good. Okay, all right. This is. I know visuals don't make a podcast, but either way. So you decided to inspire. Well, you just inspired runners as you were going, because they said, "Oh, let's hang out." It became a social thing. Now you're also part of a running club back in Houston as well. Or now that you've moved, we could talk about that.
Yes. So I just moved, but I'm the outgoing president of Katy Area Running Club. So I'm actually introverted, but. I discovered, I guess, early on. So shortly after I ran my 5K, I ran a 10K, and we can maybe talk about this later. But when I decided to go for longer distances, it's much harder to do that by yourself. So I signed up to run a half marathon. So at that time, actually, so I used to live in Cyprus, and then I moved to Katy. So actually, I was a member of Cyprus Running Club, but never participated. Huge. Yeah, never went for a group run. So it was a little intimidating to me because I wasn't a runner, but I was really inspired by all the activity. And I remember seeing all the people training, and I thought, wow, I would love to be one of those people. So I signed up to run the Aramco half. So that was going to be my first half. So did 5K. I thought it was great. Did a 10K. I was like, oh, I could do this. So anyway, but then I discovered how powerful it is to run with others, and how much more fun it was to suffer in the Houston humidity while you're training with others, and that it was no good. So it was my second year running, actually, when I signed up to run the half. Anyway, I connected with other people who I guess had the same passion and zeal. And ultimately, we influenced each other, good or bad, to sign up for a bazillion races. So I was supposed to start, I guess, the half in January, but there's a half in Cyprus that's in November. So just before that January, I decided to run that half because I was ready. And so I kind of got hooked. So I ran the Cyprus half marathon, was my first half marathon. And I just discovered the power of training with others, Social runs are so much fun. It makes time go by so fast. And interestingly enough, even though I myself, I'm not a big talker while I'm running, it's a lot of fun to run with other people who talk your ears off. Anyway, lots of stories are exchanged out at 4:00 and 5:00 in the morning. So I just love that about running. I love the social aspect of running. So for me, I cannot even imagine running outside of a group setting. So when I moved to Katy later on, joined Katy Area Running Club, was super engaged, great group, great running club. And so anyway, last year, they voted me the president. We did, of course, have the COVID challenges. So we really were not able to do much from a group perspective. So anyway, and then I moved 4 weeks ago this week, actually. So I'm not in Texas anymore, but I am actively looking for a running group.
Yeah, I would see your photos. Like, she must travel a lot because there nothing looks like Houston. So I was like, she must travel a lot or something. Okay, so now, and then you messaged me and said, "Oh, you moved. That's why we're doing this over Zoom." So you go from a run when your daughter activities, and you inspired others, and now, was it intimidating going to a running club and okay, when can I start, or what group do I run with? How did that work out?
Yes. So that's a good one. So it's frightening as somebody who is super slow. So if I'm by myself, right, I'm not affecting anybody. So I remember the first run that somebody was like, "I'm going to come run with you." And I was sweating bullets because in my brain, I just thought, oh my gosh, there is no way I can run with this person. She's way faster than me. I'm afraid of being the slacker person. But anyway, runners are not like that. Runners are super supportive. And so anyway, so I ran with this person. It was like for 3 miles, actually. And I was actually able to keep up with them. And I remember going home and reflecting that if I had run by myself, I probably would not have pushed myself in the way that I did. And it was a good push. It wasn't, that they were, it wasn't negative. It was really positive. So again, for me, the power of encouragement and being with somebody else, I think, to help you, push yourself a little bit more than maybe being comfortable walking here, walking there. If you're with somebody else, it makes me go, no, I'm not going to be the one. So
if you have to get someone to slow down, ask them a really complicated question. That's what I do. I was like, we're going too fast. So I look at your Instagram and it's not about, PR. Well, in your profile, you do PRs, but when you're doing your runs, nothing about time. It's all about, hey, how do you feel? The distance. Are you streaking? Or are you just really like running?
I am not streaking, but I am pretty until the move. So, I made a pretty big cross country move. So for about 2 months, about a month before and a couple of weeks out of that move, I wasn't as consistent, but I will probably describe myself as very disciplined runner. It's really important for me to keep my routine. So really for much of the last, I would say 3 or so years, I faithfully run all year long, 3 to 5 times a week consistently. I think this was the first time I took a break that was almost 2 months long, running, maybe 10, 15 miles a week. So I've consistently run for the last couple of years, at least 25 to 30 miles every week. I enjoy that. I do sign up for races a lot. So I am actually addicted to racing. But the reason that I do it is because that's what helps me stay motivated to train. So if I don't have a race on my schedule, then it's really hard for me to wake up at 4:00 in the morning to go running at 4:30. I'm an early morning, runner. So I enjoy signing up for races. And I kind of sort of race most of the year, of course, except the Houston summers. But now I've moved up north. We'll have to see a little bit. That may change my racing schedule a little bit. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's true. Well, how many races have you done? What's the time frame as far as years you started racing?
Yeah. So like my first year running, I ran like a 5K and just a 5K, right? My second year, I ran maybe 4 or 5 races, including the half marathon. So it was after that year that the next year I ran like 20 something races.
Oh.
So I ran like more than 10 half marathons.
Okay.
I ran my first full marathon, I think 3 years from the date that I started running. And I think that year I may have run 2 or 3 marathons. I've kind of lost, track of it. So anyway, so in the last, so for about 2 or 3 years, I guess in the honeymoon phase, I did race about 10 or so half marathons a year, 2 to 3 full marathons, and then a whole bunch of 5Ks, and 10Ks. I've kind of toned down a little bit. So like 2 years ago, my goal was to actually run less because I was to race less, not run less, to race less, just because I had a lot of races on my schedule. So last year, of course, because of COVID, I had so many deferred races. I couldn't even keep track as to what race was going to happen, happen when. But anyway, I'm doing a lot less right now. So my favorite distance is the half marathon. So I will only race a full for maybe destination races. So I really enjoy the half. So my goal is always to have half marathon ready fitness. So that's my day-to-day goal, that I should be able to run a half marathon on short order. I like the 10K and the half marathon the most. Full marathons have been a little tough for me. I haven't really kind of met some of the goals that I have about what I would like to do in terms of time. I've had some time goals for all the other distances and met those. Still working on the full, but now I just choose to enjoy new locations and places that I haven't been before on the full marathon, rather than really feel lots of pressure about time.
You are in the Houston running zone. We've got the runs.
Well, I know the Houston half, or the Ramco Houston half, doesn't do pacers, but have you ever thought of doing pacing for a half marathon?
Gosh, I think that's tough. To be a good pacer, you need to be really, really good at, going, whether it's even splits, right?
Just sandbag it.
So I'd be too worried about maybe, not be doing such a good job of even pacing. Because, I've done some races where I crash at the end because I went out too fast. I've done that a lot. I've had a few races where I've done, pretty good pacing, but that's pretty challenging for me to pace myself, consistently. So I would find that to be really challenging about pacing others. So I applaud people who do that. That's a great, and I've used pacers myself when I have some time goals, because it really helps you, not worry about looking at your watch, to focus on form and those other things. But that's a really tough job.
Well, just take like your average and add 30 minutes and it's super easy. Yeah. Like I normally pace 25 minutes. Well, I used to pace a lot, but 25 minutes above my my usual. And it was great because I could talk and have fun and think about it.
See, I'm actually not a talker when I'm racing. So I would not be a good pacer because I prefer to listen to other people. So I'm not very good about talking.
Oh yeah. I meant ask questions. Yeah. Yeah. If you ask questions, this is your first half, you could joke around with them. Hey, it's my first half too. They don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll tag you on a couple of, I think beast pacing. There's a couple of races. Yeah. Something to have fun with. But I noticed that, I looked at your profile. You kind of sent me, why you moved to Wisconsin. You're VP of Administration and Finance, Chief Financial Officer. Can you turn off the numbers when you run, or the number's still there? Like, are you sitting there going, okay, I'm going to run a 11-minute mile, but it's hilly. Okay, so I'll do a 12, but now it's downhill, so I'm going to do a 9. I mean, can you turn off the number crunching?
I do actually, when it comes to pacing. So that's the only number that I don't pay attention to. Oh. Certainly I pay attention to what mile I'm at. I have to finish at a nice even number, right? So those kinds of things. Yes. I'm from a pace perspective. I think I think I made a decision, we run recreationally, right? So for me, it is, it's not a job. I do it for the love of running. I do it because I want to stay in good physical shape. And I think the anxieties for me anyway, of maintaining a certain pace or feeling like, because I'm not fast. I guess I could, I could get faster, but I think for me, that is not a defining reason why I run. And so I want to have good races. I don't want to be so stressed about how fast was I running, how slow was I running. Now I've had coaches, of course, and and I have pace goals for runs. I have workouts that I have to do, and of course I do keep those. But in general, when I'm not training, I really run by feel. So whatever's comfortable for me, that's it, because I'm doing it for the love of it. I enjoy being outside so much. If you see my Instagram, I take lots of pictures on a run. Yeah. So that means I stop a lot because there's just lots of beautiful nature. So from a numbers perspective, my pace is not, super important, but I am a little picky about I'm not stopping at 4.8 something. We have to get to 5, or I'm not stopping at 9.87, we have to get to 10. So I told my coach this week or last week, I'm training for a marathon in December. And so she has all these recovery runs and it's just a 30-minute run. And so at my recovery pace, that's barely 3 miles, and it kills me. I'm like, I don't want to go out for under 3 miles. If I run a whole lot more than 30 minutes, I don't get my green check mark for my workout. So it's a numbers dilemma for me.
Oh my goodness.
So do I want the green check mark, or do I want a nice, clean, even number?
Yeah, that's a good point. So which one are you training for? It's like Aramco is just going to be like your victory lap, or you're doing the half, correct?
So I'm running Aramco half in January. So in December, right before Aramco, I will be running CIM in Sacramento. Ooh, so I'll be running the full marathon. Beautiful. It's actually a pre-pandemic race. So I'd signed up for it for 20, and of course it was canceled. So this is the deferral from last year.
Oh, well, you got to take some photos of that. That's just going to be the best.
Yes. Yes, it's supposed to be really nice. So looking forward to that. So 13 weeks away.
Awesome. Well, if there's any runners or prospective runners that haven't got the go ahead as far as, hey, you know what, you can do it at your own time. It doesn't matter what, internal in your mind, shape or size or anything else like that. Is there any other advice you can give somebody that's just starting to run, or like a lot of us that stopped running in 2020? And want to start up again? What advice could you kind of give them that says, all right, I can do this?
So I think running is the best form of self-care, really, because, right, you could do it on your own terms, right? I mean, you can do it by yourself. That's really what, some people really use running for reflection time, to clear their minds after a long, day, or to just work through things, whether it's family or work, or, the pandemic, right, did a number for a lot of us, right, when it comes to mental health. So running to me is like the ultimate, self-care. It's physical activity that gets you moving. How fast or how slow doesn't matter, right? A mile is a mile. And even though, there's some days, that you may not feel like doing it, but at the end of the run, to be able to go, I did 3 miles, I did 5 miles, I even did 1. I remember when I was a new runner and being able to say, I actually ran even a mile. Right. So whatever the number is, like, it's so personal, and you can celebrate big achievements. You can do it, whatever works. Right. So, and even though those of us who race know that it's not really free to run, it really is free. You can run in your neighborhood. You don't have to sign up for races. You don't have to buy all that, running gear, although that's fun.
It is. It's addictive. But
anyway,
it's a choice.
Right. Exactly. So I think it's a really great way, to take care of yourself. I'm a single mom. So, I'm shared, I'm divorced. I have a really demanding job. And so I couldn't imagine not having the ability to just have time away from those responsibilities, so that I can just have time out in nature to enjoy. I like looking at sunrises, just beautiful, nature. So that's a very refreshing, reinvigorating, way to, for me to start my day and to help me go tackle then all the things I need to tackle, whether it's at work or, at home or whatever the case may be. And I even tell people, it doesn't even have to be a run. It could be a walk, right? I mean, so I think being outside, running is just a really fast walk, right? Especially for those of us who are slow. Yeah. So I think it's a really good way to take care of yourself, and anybody can do it. You don't need special equipment. You can do it whether you like morning, evening, you can do it anytime.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we got some good stuff. I'll definitely put a link to your Instagram profile. And yeah, I've seen it's never 4.9. It's always like 5 or 5.1. Yeah. So you never cut it short, the numbers.
So yes. So I used to say that I'm not going to change into running clothes for anything under 5 miles. Because anyway, but my coach has been testing me lately because I have to do this 30-minute recovery run. So clearly I can't run 5 miles in 30 minutes. So anyway, so I have lots of 5K recovery runs on my, lately. But if you look at my old posts, really my minimum has been 5 for a long, long time.
So looking back, you've been running for 6 years, you said? Yes. Looking back 6 years, would you laugh and go, there's no way I'd be someone that can do a 30-minute recovery run? It's just like,
I couldn't, it's hard. I mean, I remember on the Couch to 5K, the way that app works, if you've never used it, it will say something like your first day, it will say walk 5 minutes and then run a minute. And then over time, it will have you running longer than you walk. And I remember on the first day, looking a week ahead, and it said something like run 10 minutes. And I remember thinking, I'm going to die if I have to run for 10 minutes, because it was already hard, running for the one, because I'd never run again. I was in really poor shape. So today, I'm a 2+ hour half marathoner, right? To imagine that's something, I mean, it's not easy, but it's something that I could, be able to do on relatively short notice. Marathon's a whole different, ball game, but I could not have imagined, that I could say, that I run, the number of miles, that I do. I run about, I think, 1,200 to 1,300 miles a year, every year consistently for the last 4 years. I couldn't have imagined that was possible, but right, it's always impossible until you do it, right?
Oh yeah. So, yeah. A lot of us, including myself, have never broken a 2 hour half marathon. So what's your PR for the half?
So I barely scraped by for the under 2. That was my goal. So it was 1:59:47.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's a one and done. So I did it one time. I trained really hard, and it probably will not happen again. I don't know.
So on your average half, what would you run it in right now?
So my average halves, when I'm in my element training, are somewhere between 2 and 2:10. 2:15, right about there.
Yeah, you could pace. Yeah. You could pace a 2:30. That's a 11:47.
Too much pressure. I don't want the pressure. I want the ability to just
2:40. And here's the best part is I've run with my friend Hung for a couple of the 5-hour Houston marathons, and he would do run walk. And I've never done run walk before. And I was like, this is great. I love this. So you could even do run walk pacing. You could do anything you want. What are they going to do? Fire you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. The only other thing I'll say, to the comment about, running is that I think I'll have to say for me, I discovered a lot of energy around races, right? Mm-hmm. So having spectators, right? So that infused an energy that, doesn't exist in training, right? So just running around your neighborhood, you may meet your neighbor walking their dog, but it's a whole other ball game, being at a race. And for me, the idea, even today as a runner, I don't know that I can tell you how many times I've gone just to cheer other people. So as a runner, when I see people who committed their time, left their homes, maybe sometimes it's super hot, sometimes it's super cold, and they're just sitting there cheering for you. Like they committed to spend their time, not as a runner, but just to come and, encourage you as you run. I find that to be quite inspiring, actually, that people are that committed to helping others, on their races. So that energy is it's different. I mean, I don't know any other sporting event I guess other sports have spectators, but anyway, as a runner, enjoying that it's super energizing, and that's like the best feeling. And as a Chevron Houston ambassador, I have to say that that's the absolute best part, about Houston is the crowd support, the atmosphere. And I've raced lots of other places, outside of Texas, internationally as well. So that feeling of just the spectators cheering you on, it's super special. So I think everybody should experience that. And of course, I am very biased that you should experience that, marathon weekend in January, with the Houston, either the full marathon or the half.
Oh, yes. We're not biased. It's true. There's no other. I had Wade on here, the executive director, maybe a month, almost 2 months ago. And I was telling him, like, there's no other marathon or half that I've been involved with that you can use a convention center as a everyday runner. Everything else has been outside.
So even the expo, I mean, I've gone to I can't compare the whole, of course I'm not in Houston now, but even when I lived in Houston, I would go stay downtown the whole weekend because it's so much fun to participate in all of the activities, go to all the, Katy seems so far away from downtown. So it's nice to go see what the inner loopers think is so special about downtown Houston. It's lots of fun, all the nice places to eat. I like to go to the expo many, many times.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that's super special. And I really didn't actually know how special it was until I left and went to other races. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, this is nothing like Houston. Houston is amazing. So
yeah, it's a VIP experience for us.
It really is
5 hour ish people.
Yes. 5+.
Yeah, ish. We're good. Give or take. So, oh, awesome. Well, yeah, I appreciate it. And I love how you're letting people know that running, walking, whatever you need to do, go out there. And obviously it's probably done wonders for like your mental health. I mean, just like do you feel less stressed after you run?
Absolutely. It's invigorating, right? Your what are those hormones that just make you feel good, right? I mean, you get that in running. So, right. So it's great. It's helped me be in better shape physically. I do have, if you were to scroll all the way to the bottom to my original Instagram post, I do have a before and after picture of what I looked like before I started running. Most people don't believe that was me because I look very different today because of running. And I always say I didn't start running with a goal to run as many miles as possible. But in fact, at first it was difficult, right? Because you start running and you're not physically active. So then your knees hurt and then you have shin splints. So it's kind of easy to want to actually quit because it's actually harder before it gets, better. So I like to share that I think it probably took me a good maybe year to actually fall in love with it. So I did it more with the part of my brain that's logical, that says you need to be active, you need to be doing this. But it was much, much later that I began to love it. And so now I do it because of course it's good for me, but now I love it. But so I didn't just get there immediately. It takes time, to get through the discomfort of first being physically active,
Wow. Yeah, that is awesome. And look forward to meeting you in person. I'll either be running the half or I always do the last aid station. We always bring some speakers out there.
You'd better be running. This is super special. This is Houston's 50th anniversary. So that's a special number, right? If we're going to talk numbers. So I think it'll be a super special experience. So anyway, so if you plan on running, you'd better sign up soon because I think we're in the last tier for registration.
Yes, there's definitely some excitement, not just from the whole shutdown thing, but I think just people are just excited for the 50th, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun time, regardless of spectating or anybody that wants to come out and volunteer and hand out liquids. But before I let you go, I got 3 more bonus questions called the lightning round. Are you ready, Lillian?
I am.
All right. What is your favorite training gear?
Gosh, I do like Brooks. And so I found Brooks accidentally. They do happen to be sponsors for Houston, but it was my first running shoe and I've kept Brooks all these years. So I love Brooks, but I love other things as well. So.
Yeah, I noticed they got the sponsorship there. And you know what? Brooks should sponsor us runners because we represent a bigger community than the elites.
Yes.
I love my elite friends. I like to joke with them because I never get to run with them. So I get to joke with them. All right.
Right.
Couple more. Question number 2. If you could run with someone famous, who would it be?
Oh, of course, the GOAT, Kipchoge himself. I did run with Meb last 2 years ago, right? So the last in person. So if you participate in the Chevron Houston pre-race activities, they will have a shakeout run with an elite runner the day before the race. So you should check out the calendar and see who that is. So 2 years ago, it was with Meb. And I joked with him that he had to catch up with me because he started up much later and he came up from behind me. So I told him he had to try and keep up with the slow Kenyan runner.
Yeah, he's got an amazing story. Everyone should check out his book. Super nice. I mean, I think he's just happy to be still running and active, and yeah, it's great. All right, here's the hardest one. Question number 3: what's your favorite culinary guilty pleasure?
Oh my goodness, desserts, cake, pie. So desserts.
There's got to be a favorite in there. There's got to be a favorite.
Yeah, ice cream. I'm gonna say cake. Any kind of cake except chocolate.
Really? Okay. Wow. You got to offend everybody. This is great. Like more carrot or more? I
actually don't like chocolate, but I love any other kind of cake.
Right.
So
like carrot cake or yellow cake or
tiramisu. I love cheesecake.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if it's sweet, I love it. Plain vanilla cake. But I do love cheesecake, actually. So cheesecake is pretty up there. Tiramisu is up there as well.
I always ask, just give me ideas because I'm about to eat and then obviously grab some desserts. I don't think I have time to make a cake, but either way.
And I love ice cream, particularly in Houston, right? So where it's always hot. So.
Well, let's give a place a shout out. There was a particular place in Houston you like to go to?
Local Table is my favorite.
All right.
So out in the Katy area, that's one of my favorite places to eat. So, and I'm missing really good Mexican food. So Lupe Tortillas.
Oh, yes. And the ginormous tortillas that they have there. It's awesome.
Yes.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So yes, I certainly will miss the foodie town that Houston is. We have lots of good food in Houston.
Well, when you schedule your flight, if you haven't, make sure to schedule some time after the race. If it's just in case you want to catch up on some food.
I most certainly will. I will dedicate the whole week. I'll be there for a week for race weekend. I will dedicate most of it to eating all my favorite things.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate you inspiring everybody and all the great stories, and look forward to seeing you at the 50th anniversary of Chevron Houston Marathon and Aramco Houston Half Marathon coming up in January.
So thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed talking to you.
As always, if you know someone that could use this information, please share it with them. And if you want to become the first to find out about upcoming weekly episodes, simply hit the plus or follow button. If you're listening on a platform like Apple or Stitcher, where you can leave us a rating or review, we'd love it. And more importantly, looking forward to sharing another episode next week.
Thanks for visiting the Houston Running Zone. If you know someone you'd like to be featured in the zone, go to thehoustonrunningzone.com and send us a message. Until next week, always remember, Houston, we've got the runs.